Who is a diaspora? And of what value is the diaspora? I mean, what's the fuss about the diaspora? These and other questions on the table before the Chairman CEO of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Honorable Abike Dabiri Arawa, as she delivers a high-powered lecture on policy formation and the implementation of practical experience, the National Diaspora Policy 2021 in Perspective, at the National Defense College, Abuja. We will bring you the entire gamut of the lecture as it promises to be effective and engaging. There will be questions, answers, comments, and reactions. Of course, we did not forget our diasporan of the moment. This is your favorite program, The Diaspora, and I am Koinsola Adetumbi, your anchor. Please stay. Now let's begin the lecture by Dr. Abike Dabiri Arawa at the National Defense College, course 31, which had 115 participants with 21 attendees from 20 different countries across Africa and Asia.
Who really is a diasporan? A diaspora is defined as a migrant who, for whatever reason, whether it's social, whether it's economic, whether it's political, you're leaving your country, which is called your country of origin, and you're going to another man's country. And if you're there for more than a year continuously, and you have a sustainable means of livelihood, and a known address in that country, then we describe you as a diasporan. Now, there are three things we work on: engage, enable, and empower the Nigerian diaspora towards national development. We have a few strategies that we think are very important. The enabling environment. Let's face it, if there's no security, infrastructure, regulation is very important. And that is why government is a continuum. These are things government must do. You need to protect the lives of your citizens. We need to provide incentives for our diaspora in industry, trade, and investment home remittances. And we're engaging the relevant ministries in that regard. We talk about foreign direct investment. We should be talking about diaspora direct investment. And guess what? We are getting there. Now, we have the annual National Diaspora Day, July 25, every year. Well, it's been on now for about 16 years. But when DITCOM came on board, we made it bigger. We strengthened it and got more diaspora participation. Before it was like, oh, it's just one organization, but we made it open. And honestly speaking, we had very, very successful 3 diaspora days since the establishment of DITCOM. We've launched a data portal launched by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, but it's still a challenge getting people to bring in their data. They only bring their data when there's trouble. During COVID, we realized that even in India alone, they tripled the number that was recorded to be there. So we're encouraging them that your data is just, Google has your data now. Once you post something, but let's know who you are, what you're doing, and the accurate number. So we're working on data. It's very, very important we do that. Outreach programs to mobilize Nigerians in diaspora for national development. Again, we work on that a lot of outreach programs. We do a lot of Zoom meetings, town hall meetings, but the biggest is, because of lack of funds, anytime the president travels, he engages with them, so we make it a 2-in-1 thing. We also engage with them while the president meets a smaller group. Then we need to have desk offices in MDAs, and I think we should have one in Defense College, a diaspora desk. So we should have diaspora desks in all offices. We have a few, but not enough. We're working ahead of service. Every MDA, relevant MDA, should have a diaspora desk. It makes life easier for everybody. Now we have diaspora focal officers in virtually every state of Nigeria now. So each state now has a diaspora SSA. Ekiti has, Ondo has a commissioner, Anambra has a commissioner, Abia now has its own agency, Edo now has its own diaspora agency. A lot of them have special advisors. I think Gombe has a commissioner. So now we have focal persons. So you want to invest in your state, we link you with them. It's not Abuja. We're encouraging you to go to your village, to your communities. So DITCOM has been a platform where we domicile coordination of diaspora-related activities. Now we introduced the door of return. Diaspora door. We haven't done it because of COVID for the past 2 years now, but honestly speaking, it's a beautiful ceremony where we attract the historic African diaspora. Then the Diaspora Medical City and Charity Missions and the Diaspora Professional Healthcare Initiative is being worked on with the Minister of Health, where a pool of doctors will come together. What are the needs? Then they get themselves together and come home, provide those needs and return. The articulation of a diaspora policy is very significant. We need it for clear directions on how to effectively engage our diaspora and harness their expertise, potentials, and resources.
Honorable Abike Dabiri Arewa gave a practical performance assessment of the National Diaspora Policy, challenges and solution pathways. Please listen.
Why do we have this policy? How do we engage all our people in the diaspora to be a part of the growth and progress of their home country? So that is very important. So why do we have the policy? We need to promote and harness these enormous resources and capacity of Nigerians in the diaspora, most importantly for the growth and development of our nation. We want to empower them to be change agents for the development of our dear country, Nigeria. Because you see, it's about maximizing their potentials, resources for this country. And I think that is very important. No matter where we go, we are Nigerians. And we talk to them all the time. They are passionate about their country. They want to come back home. But you don't want to come back to a better home. So it's important that we put all these things in place. However, a better home will be built by you and I from wherever you are in the world. It won't be built by foreigners. And you are Nigerians in the diaspora, so let's do it together. So we want to have constructive engagement with them for, again, the key word is sustainable national development. Now we have a holistic policy, holistic, integrated, and it is comprised of the realization and implementation by the government through all relevant ministries, departments, and agencies. They are all listed in the policy. Central Bank of Nigeria, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Finance, Science and Technology, Health. Some ministries now have diaspora desks based on the policy we have. EFCC, civil society organizations, the academia. So this framework provides an institutional avenue through which diaspora engagement issues are mainstreamed. And again, the key word is mainstreaming. It's got a broad, legal, administrative, budgetary, and funding institutional structure for implementation. Again, it's a policy. We'll talk about implementation. It's one thing to have a policy. It's one thing to ensure it's implemented. We have to get that clear and be sincere with ourselves. Now, NIDCOM is the lead agency, and I'm glad to be the pioneer chairman. So ours is to coordinate and support the efforts of all stakeholders towards the implementation of this policy. And I'll keep saying something. NIDCOM is to galvanize, we are just the link. From the Ministry of Education, from those students going out, from those students who want this and that, to the Ministry of Health, to the doctors who want to do something back at home. We are there to just coordinate. And we're even saying that subsequently, each ministry should have a budget for its diaspora. For instance, for your doctors, what do you want to do with them? Education linkages. We had a program where our professors were coming home to Nigeria during their sabbatical. They spent 3 months of their sabbatical or whatever time in Nigeria, go to our institutions, build capacity, teach them, engage them, but that has stopped because of no funding. In fact, some of them came and did not go back again. Some wanted to spend 3 months, they spent a year. And then we started getting even foreign lecturers saying they want to come back to do something in Nigeria, but it needs to be funded. So ours is every MDA must have something that we fund is diaspora so that we can build all this capacity and do what we can. The best professors all over the world are Nigerians, and that is the reality. And I'm not joking. No country in the world has what we have as human capacity development. And we must realize that and take diaspora even more serious than we've been taking it at this point in time.
Participants made their comments and asked questions on diaspora issues and national interest.
So I don't know what the Commission is doing to organize our diaspora, in which we can have an organized remittance where it will keep back into our economy, particularly considering the number of single use and unemployed. This money should be used for small and medium investments instead of allowing people to just use their ability to invest. And we can lack how what this can be used. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The number of times charge of a particular country, particularly in certain issues. We at the mission, a number of times refer to intervene. So I just want to ask, what is the Commission doing to address this kind of issues? Thank you.
Colonel Neme, what we've done is, I mentioned the NDITF, the Nigeria Diaspora Investment Trust Fund, which Mr. President has just approved. So now he said you can have Nigerians come together, pool resources, and have a trust fund. But we want to ensure that it's properly done. We want to ensure that we get diasporans together, that will manage the funds and ensure it's properly done so that nobody gets into trouble. So that is what we'll be able to achieve. And I believe in a couple of months, we'll introduce that fund to the public and it will be managed by the diaspora. So that's the one we can do. Then the Diaspora Investment Summit monitors the investments along with NIPC. So again, I think we're making a bit of progress in that regard. By the time we have the next summit, we keep, getting better and putting it together. So we have the Diaspora Investment Summit partnering with the private sector. So we are on that. And Ambassador Elias, well, nice to see you. Yeah, synergy, again, is tied to what Colonel asked. We have different diaspora groups, but what we do is we try to encourage them. However, some countries don't have NIDO at all. Some countries have only one. Ethiopia has only one association, and they are working very well together. So it depends. Varies from country to country, officials, but we always ensure that you have to be recognized by the embassy. We'll not work with them without the embassy saying yes. If the embassy says there are 4 factions, this is the faction they're working with, that's the faction we take. They will abuse everybody. They will say they collected money. That's your problem. But we work with the mission.
What measures are being in place by Nigerian Diaspora Commission to ensure or incentivize the process of documentation of Nigerians in diaspora, or even compel Nigerians in diaspora to get registered?
Captain Ajiboye, yeah, data is a problem, let's face it, for all of us as Nigerians. Why do you want to know? If I'm sick, I'm not supposed to tell you I'm sick. I'll say you think it's somebody that's doing juju for me. So we don't share information. It's our culture. But it will change. There should be a pull factor. And number one pull factor will be diaspora voting. If we say you're going to vote now, you will register. And then the passport thing and the NIM thing, they're beginning to come out because you need your NIM for your passport. And then thanks to Immigration Service, they now have a 10-year passport. Every one of us now has a 10-year passport rather than before. And I think the diaspora are the biggest beneficiaries. So yes, it is still a challenge, let's face it. We set up a data portal, they are coming in trickles. But I don't even expect that's going to happen overnight, but it's going to happen. But we encourage students in particular, when you go to these countries, just go to the mission. If you can't go to the mission, go to the portal.
Thank you, Ma, for all you do to protect Nigeria and good life abroad. Ma, while agreeing that some Nigerians are not on their best behavior outside the country, there are also some cases of Nigerians being victimized and becoming victims of stereotyping and unjust hostility. I saw this clearly in Ethiopia and in some other countries. But is there any provision in your commission for either to recommend or to effect reciprocity on some of these countries? Thank you.
How does the policy takes into account our foreign policy, especially in this era of increased nationalism?
The message is this: we will be there for you. If our president instructs that, if you did not commit the crime. In terms of stereotyping, I know sometimes it's out of jealousy. I know some of our brothers are here from other countries, right? Sometimes out of jealousy. The Nigerian is aggressive, has a swag. When you walk in, Niger now, we have it, it's in us, but let's use it positively. Madam Falashade, yes, I think initially, like I said, we key into the nation's foreign policy. There's a diaspora policy, but we're even working with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on the foreign policy. We even had to submit the diaspora content of that policy. So everything is done in line with our foreign policy, which is us first.
The commandant of the National Defense College, Rear Admiral Murtala Mormoni Bashir, stated that the choice of Dr. Abike Dabiri Erewa as guest lecturer at the lecture appropriately aligned with the course content.
This course on policy formulation and implementation is a maiden edition. Before now, the package, which comprises the formulation, implementation, analysis, and review, has been part of the course curriculum of the participants' course here at the college. But this year, we felt it's not just enough for us to build the capacity of the participants. And that's why we reached out to other ministries, departments, and agencies to send nominees so that they can be part of the process, so that we can equally build the capacity of the participants from the ministries, departments, and agencies, in line with the concept of the whole of government approach to addressing our common problems. And today, we are having 20 participants from the ministries, departments, and agencies that have joined the traditional participants of the National Defense College course for this course. And we're delighted, Mark, for you in here to share your experience on the formulation and implementation of the National Diaspora Policy 2021. The presentation, I must say, was articulate and lucid, and it has enhanced our understanding of the process involved in formulation, implementation, and review of policies. And for the participants, the guest speaker has given us so much information. And you can see that what she gave us perfectly aligns with what we have been fortunate to go through since the beginning of the course on Monday, like the sponsor director said. She has clearly brought out the problem, because for every policy, there must have been a problem. She brought out the problem, Nigerians in diaspora, and so many of them, the need to manage them, the need to harness their potentials and competencies to contribute to national development. And of course, the policy objectives, the assessment criteria, even though the policy is still at its infant stage. But then there's need for us to have an assessment mechanism, and of course, implementation. So for the participants, I will employ you to get hold of the lecture scripts, which the guest speaker has magnanimously packaged for us. Get hold of the scripts and read yourself through it, digest it, and see how you can apply the information during the course here and even after graduation when you go back to your organizations. Like I said, when we started the course, we should be able to be those agents of change. We should be able to drive the process of policy formulation and implementation in our various organizations. And believe me, by the time we get it right in terms of policy formulation, we identify the problem, we clearly understand the problem, we formulate an appropriate policy and bring out implementation strategies, and then still go ahead and implement the policy. By the time we get it right in those processes, half of our problems must have been solved. So on this note, esteemed guest speaker, I'm sure I'm speaking the minds of the participants when I say that we're better informed on the subject. So I want to thank you most sincerely for coming to educate us on this very important subject. It is our prayer that God will continue to give you the focus, you and your wonderful staff, so that you can continue to add value in terms of managing Nigerians in diaspora.
Many thanks to the National Defense College for the opportunity. Now let's take a short break with Boy Alinko leading us.
Ha! Not so fast. Look, I'm tired. I want to check out of this country for greener pastures.
Just calm down for a moment. Please sit down.
Do you have a job where you're going to?
No, but someone is arranging, you know. Listen, Alinko. Checking out of this country without proper planning means one thing. Unimaginable begin.
You know, I've been in the diaspora, but legitimately doing great things at home and abroad. As I've been saying, without the proper footing abroad, the risk is not worth it. Listen, Alinko, it's better to be home than be trapped abroad, or even end up in prison.
If you must travel, travel legitimately. Now over to our diasporan of the moment with Shalewa Ajila presenting.
Our diaspora of the moment is Wendy A. Okolo. Wendy is a Nigerian-American aerospace research engineer in the Intelligence Systems Division at NASA Ames Research Center. Okolo obtained her secondary education at Queen's College, an all-girls school in Lagos, Nigeria. She then received a bachelor's degree in aerospace engineering at the University of Texas at Arlington in 2010. Okolo later became the first Black woman to obtain a PhD in aerospace engineering from UTA in 2015 at the age of 26. She is also the Special Emphasis Programs Manager for Women at Ames. Okolo started her career as an undergraduate intern for Lockheed Martin, working on NASA's Orion spacecraft. She is a sub-project manager in the Intelligence Systems Division of NASA Ames. She has received numerous awards. In 2012, Amelia Earhart Fellowship, National Defense Science and Engineering Graduate Fellowship 2012, Texas Space Grants Consortium Fellowship 2012-2013, John Leland Artwood Graduate Award 2013, Black Engineer of the Year Award for the Most Promising Engineer in the United States Government, Women in Aerospace Award for Initiative, Inspiration, and Impact 2019, NASA Ames Early Career Researcher Award in 2019, University of Texas at Arlington Distinguished Recent Graduate Award in 2019, and the NASA Ames Award for Researcher in 2020. Okolo is the first Black woman to obtain a PhD degree in aerospace engineering from the University of Texas at Arlington. Congratulations, Dr. Okolo. We celebrate you as our diaspora of the moment.
That concludes today's episode of your favorite show, The Diaspora. And I have been your host, Koinsola Adetumbi. Do stick around next week. Bye for now.